Good evening, Daron. I'm seeing your, well, I was seeing your screen.
Yeah, having just this issue. I think I'm figured out here. This weirdness here. See if this is any better here. Okay, it looks a bit better here. All right, everyone. Welcome to the...
Okay, it's 1800 Mountain. Daron, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Elmer Session this evening. It'll be about 45 minutes long, and then there'll be a break, and then we'll have our regularly scheduled meeting. Please feel free to chime in if you have any questions about any amateur radio, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to bring up. This would be the opportunity. So please feel free to come forward. This is not a net. You don't have to check in. You don't have to be an amateur radio operator. Everyone is welcome. We can go over some of the things we recently spoke about. Let's see. Let's see what we were speaking about. We were talking about grounding some switching, some options for internet linking. Recently, we started putting some of our learning nets on YouTube here. So here's the live stream from the 12th. You can go ahead and view that. Hopefully, we'll try to get that here on our main channel, Denver Radio Club channel. But for now, they're on mine. So feel free to go back through these if you'd like. I have a few on here.
And Daron, can I say one thing for the folks? If you scroll down the bottom of your screen and that bar comes up and you see the 3 vertical dots, if you go into settings and set it for full screen and then change your layout to spotlight, then you'll be able to see Daron's presentation a lot larger than if you're in one of the other layout modes. Back to you, Daron.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call there. Perfect. So yeah, please feel free to come forward if you have any questions about amateur radio. There's always things going on. Let's see here. I know Iowa had a derecho that we had not too long ago, but they definitely suffered quite a bit from it. I'd have to find some photos and some things here, but I know that in Iowa they definitely suffered some things. So here's some summits on the air apparently in Iowa. Packet radio. Let's see here. Let me bring up the chat. Make sure I'm looking at this here. Packet radio, you can accomplish in several different ways. It's, I wonder if I can bring up mine. If you have a TNC, a hardware TNC, it would be a serial connection from your radio to your computer. Software-wise, if you don't have this type of a device where you can get serial terminal node, there are software options. Let me see if I can bring those up.
And I'll be the acronym gatekeeper. That's Terminal Node Controller, TNC.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get something to come up here.
I had an MFJ 1278 for years, was my introduction to Packet.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And I use a 857D. Let me see, over a USB signal link.
Yeah, and John says he has an MFJ 1270X.
Sorry, bear with me right here for a moment. And please, if anybody wants to chime in with anything, absolutely.
Anybody out there on Packet that's using some type of software that they recommend?
Bring this up here for just a moment.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead with the question.
On my G5RV Junior in my backyard.
The one that my father died in. And it really underscores.
It sounds like somebody has their.
I think she said the pre-existing condition that her father had was a belief in what Donald Trump was telling them, that it was going to go away. And in fact, he.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a G5RV Junior, and I put a wind ballon, ugly ballon in it. And I had some ferrite beads, and I had big enough ones. And I did, the 6-inch and circled it about 6 or 7 times. And the SWRs are really good on 20 and 40, but I was out in the yard today. I said, hey, let me put a few more clips on this thing just for the fun of it. So I put 2 more clips on the ugly ballon, the ferrite beads. I came in and it totally changed the SWR on the wire. And I was just wondering, did I add was it too much inductance that was added to it, or what's your belief on that? My belief is that, I did the 7 turns, 6 inches, and I put the clips on it, and immediately, I guess I could really retune it, but it sure changed it to that the SWRs were pegging on that puppy, and I took the clips back off. Do you have any idea or comment on that? I just think I changed the impedance too much or something.
I apologize. I was trying to do something there. So you mentioned a G5RG Junior. You mentioned some coaxial toroids, and you think you may have adjusted things too much?
Yeah, well, what I did is I put an ugly loop right there by the feed point, 6 inches, about 7 turns, and everything's fine. It's been fine for years. I mean, it's not like it. But today I said, well, let me just see, because every once in a while on CW at 50 watts, it wants to turn a light on in the house. So I said, well, let me, kind of nice today, and I'll put a few more of these ferrite clips on there, and I did. And I came in and checked my SWRs, and they were just through the roof with that thing. I mean, I probably could put, use the tuner to tune it, but it's been that way, how I use it. So I immediately took them off, 3 of them, and everything went back to normal. And I was just wondering, did I add, by putting those clips on there with the ugly ballon, did I put too much inductance in it? Or has anybody heard of that? It kind of brought to mind, if I could say it, that if you want to put up an antenna and you want to connect the feed line, you definitely want the ugly ballon as close to the feed line as you can, but without getting too carried away of adding too much, because you might be causing your own grief. But have you ever heard of that? What I did?
Good question. That's a little bit above my experience. I wonder if anybody on the chat here maybe has some input on that.
Way above my experience, but that doesn't take a whole lot. I stay at the shallow end of the pool.
Let's see it here. And I saw Fred, A0JK, I thought. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah. I mean, the answer is don't do it, because I did it.
Yeah, I guess
once
so.
I took it off. Yeah, but I would like to know what is the physics there that caused that. You think about it here. Okay, I put that on there, which changes the inductance. I'm assuming it changes the impedance, and the inductance changes the impedance. I'm out here where I don't need to know, but. So how about if you did 10 reps? With that 10 reps, I mean, does it really need to be 6 or 7? It just brought up a lot of questions. I don't have a book here at the house. I did learn a lot. I mean, definitely, when you put something together, just put it together and do one step at a time, and then go for it. But I just thought I'd bring it up. Maybe somebody would say, "Oh yeah, well that's more inductance, and you change the impedance, and da da da." But anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up. I'm listening.
A0JK.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, Fred, you got something there?
Well, I don't know if I've got something. Your feed line, what are you dealing with there? Twin lead, for the junior, GR5 usually has the twin lead. And if you coil that up or put in any of those ferrites on that, that's going to cause problems, shorting out that that twin lead if it comes in contact with itself or any other surrounding objects. And as far as I take it that the way you're talking there, possibly that there's a section of coax there, and that's way too many turns, far more necessary for the coax for the ugly ballon, as we sometimes call it. You don't need that many turns with the G5RV. About 4 or 5 is more than sufficient. And then that I was be thinking you're snapping those ferrites onto the coax, which I don't think is necessary. I'm guessing that you've got an issue with the twin lead portion of that antenna. Am I correct in there being a twin lead in your antenna line, on your feed line?
Okay, there's an 18-foot. I have it going into a box, where in that box I connect my RG8X, and then when it comes, when it goes into coax, after it comes out of that box, that's where I put the wind ballon or ugly ballon. And everything's great inside, unless I go over 50 watts with CW, then it wants to turn this light on in the hall. So today, I was just fooling around. Life is great. So I went out there. I said, let me clip a few ferrite beads on the wind ballon, ugly ballon, whatever we want to call it. And I came in. I said, let me check the SWRs, and man, they were pegging. And so I went out there. Obviously, I took them off. I hadn't had them on there, for years, but I was just curious. And where my mind was with that is, did I change the inductance so bad? I mean, what's the physics? What law did I cross? I mean, by doing ugly ballon and then putting ferrite beads on the ugly ballon. I have no book to look it up here. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Maybe there is no answer.
Okay. Comment here. Your coax has got a shield under that insulation, that shield running between it and your center conductor. You should. What do we got going on there?
I think you're fine now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. You shouldn't need those snap-on ferrites on your coax. You've got probably way too many turns there as far as your ugly ballon is concerned. But what my question was, do you have twin lead in the feed line?
Yeah, the feed line from the G5RV Junior coming off, out of the air to the pole is 18-foot twin lead. I have nothing on that twin lead. It's been there for a couple of years. It's just that today I put 2 clips on the coax just to see if I could not mess with this light in the hall at 50 watts on CW. Just curious. Anyway, once I clipped it on there on the coax, it pegged the SWR. It didn't hurt the radio because I was checking it at 5 watts. Just once I took the clips off, everything went back to great. I'm just curious, what rule did I break?
Okay. Make sure that twin lead is not folding over on itself anywhere or coming in contact with anything in the area there where it is.
Yeah, it's not.
Feeding
It's
down.
not. It's clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's clear. It's clear.
Yeah, it's
okay.
clear. Yeah.
Okay, then you'd probably should be looking for something else, because putting on the ferrites on the coax, I don't think is an issue there. You're getting RF into that light. It's cable, the power line sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be looking at your connectors. Check your coaxial connectors, and make sure that those are all tight, and there hasn't been any corrosion or anything have gotten into those.
Yeah.
But
now, with I mean, I can do FTX, FT8, and all those, PSK 31. I can do on 40 meters, 7.155, that morning group I get on. As long as the problem hits once I go over 50 watts on CW. If I'm at 40 watts, doing the CW check on the SWR, no problem. And so I was just thinking I needed to stop a little bit more RF hitting that light. And that sure wasn't the answer.
okay,
that antenna's been up 2 years.
Yeah. Comment. There's there shouldn't be anything coming off of that coax as far as interfering with your light, unless the coax has been damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So how old is the coax?
Oh, about 4 years, I think. I would say maybe
should
5.
be fine. Should be fine unless it's been damaged, crimped, or something like that. But I would leave those ferrites off of the coax, I think that's probably a waste of time. But there's something else going on there. That box that you are talking about, where you transfer from twinlead to your should be like a isolation transformer there, and then going into your coax.
Right.
It sounds to me like if you've got a problem there, its problem is possibly in that part of the circuit. I would check in there, make sure that nothing has been damaged, any water or anything has gotten into that, or loose connections or that. Check those connections there.
Okay.
And I don't understand why you're only getting 50 watt output. You should be able to run way more than that in a G5 RV.
Oh no, I only do it when I'm tuning. Yeah, I can run the whole 100 watts. This 1200 will do the whole. When I'm on voice or phone, there's no problem. If I'm on digital, there's no problem. As long on digital, I cannot cross the 50 watt output. On the voice, I can go all the way up to 100. Doesn't bother anything. Of course, I was just curious. There was something, some rule out there in physics. I figured I would just ask.
No,
I mean, it's not a problem. I don't have any problem other than when I clipped those on there, I noticed, and I said, well, there must be something. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I would. I don't know why that just clipping those on there would cause an issue, as long as they're not, your coax is already shielded. So I see no reason why you would have any, you've got, if you've got RF coming back down that line, you've got some problems somewhere up there. I'd be checking inside of that box, make sure you don't have something wrong inside there where your ballon or that isolation transformer is at, because he shouldn't have any RF coming back down that line.
Now, is it possible? It doesn't bother anything else in the house except that light. It's a light that is a motion detector light I put in this house 30 years ago, I guess. And is it possible that light, after 50 watts, just doesn't have the shielding?
I've got these LED lights and whatnot around the house there, and occasionally the RF will cause them to intermittently flash on and off, or even turn on, and that's just RF coming in off of your antenna. I've got especially on 6 meters here. I've got my lights dim, and carry on.
Right.
You try putting the ferrites on the power cord to your light. and because the power cord's probably acting like an antenna, picking up RF, picking up RF from the antenna. Probably not your antenna at all, causing a problem there. But my main concern is when you're clipping on those additional ferrites that you're winding up with a problem. But if there's a problem, it sounds to me like it's probably in that ballon box.
Right. All right. Well, good.
Anyhow, I have nothing further comes to mind as to why your system isn't just fine.
Yeah, everything's good as long as you don't put those clips down there. But I'm glad you mentioned about your motion detectors on the outside of the house, because that's the only thing. Now, I have motion detectors on the outside. I've never been out there when I'm transmitting to see at night if it's flickering, but the one in the hall will do it on CW.
Just as long as it doesn't start opening the neighbor's garage doors.
Thank you. All right. I'll get back out here into the listening mode. But I appreciate your information about your problem with the motion detector. That's the same problem I have with this one.
Okay. 73 for now.
73.
And if you look in the chat, I placed a link there to an article by pd9z.com, RF choke, build your own. You might want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking at it.
And
All right. Well, thank you there, John.
You're welcome.
I'll be listening out here. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
All right. Good conversation there, guys. Yeah, absolutely. You can get very, very deep into this stuff. This is it's crazy.
I think I am deep into it.
And Daron, we still had the question open about the packet software.
Yeah, absolutely. I had pasted a link as well into the Google chat or the Meet here. Let me bring it up on the screen here. And I can bring up my setup as well. I'm not sure if it actually works at the moment, but I use a combination of this sound modem software. It is free. So this is, I use a hardware side, I use FT857D for the radio. And then USB, and then a SignalLink USB signal, if I can spell. That was awful. Okay. Basically, it gets audio from the radio and then just passes it to the computer. So this is my solution for software packet radio, at least, is a combination of these two pieces of software here. And basically, I pipe in the audio from my radio, and then I can pipe it back out, and then use it to also bring up. Since I have cat control, I can use Ham Radio Deluxe or something like that. So these are some options. These are one option that I use. Windows-based options is by UZ7HO is the call sign. But once you tune to the right frequency, if we can do this. Let's see if we can do this.
And I mentioned the SignalLink is in essence an external sound card. I use it too. It works great.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, you can potentially get away. I mean, this just makes it easier to interface with your radio and have a Vox controller easier push to talk if you don't have cat control. Otherwise, you could use potentially just like a $20 USB kind of sound modem potentially as well. We'll see if we can try to do a live demo here. But yeah, those were the options. Let's see who had brought that up here while we're doing that.
I've got a comment on the 2-meter antenna that Arthur is questioning.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Art, look up Arrow antennas. Arrow antennas are out of Cheyenne. He's got excellent antennas that'll probably do a real good job for you there for your 2-meter project there. Back to you.
All right, yeah, good option on there. Let's see. So I'm going to tune into our 145.050.
Can I make a comment?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Those antennas are available at HRO if you want to go look at them. They have, I think, most of the antennas that Arrow makes are on display at HRO.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get something right now, today, or tomorrow, that's a good option right there. Ham radio outlet. We have a good option for that, for the Arrow antennas.
One thing about HRO, this is Jerry, you can't go in the store right now, so you're gonna have them bring one out to the curb for you to see, because there's no as of yet, you can't go in the store.
Yeah, just bring up Arrow's web site, and you'll be able to go through all their antennas that they have available. I know I've got several of their products, and I've been quite pleased with them. Good quality construction, and I have never had any problems with them. So I think you can probably find what you need there. You can take a look, see the specs, take a look at them, and then place your order with HRO. Back to you, Daron.
All right. Thanks, guys, on that. Looks like it was John Mustakal, if you're still there, if you have any other follow-up on that, that was kind of just the brief information I have on Packet Radio. I was going to try to do a live demo here, but I wonder if you have any other follow-up on that, if you're still there. I don't think this is working. Let's see. Yeah, I'd imagine I'd be hearing some things. Oh, I may not have. Let's see. Anywho, I'll play around with this if I can get it working live. We can get it, but Packet Radio is pretty fun to play around with if you have a radio and a USB signal link or some sort of audio interface to your computer. It's a pretty easy way. You can definitely get into to Packet Radio. We'll have to bring up some links here. Yep, Jim Beal here mentioned the QSO test. We'll go to that. We'll bring that up here. Again, my name is Daron. My call sign is K1DBC. This is not a net, and everyone is welcome. Yeah, you don't need to check in, but this is kind of what we do on our Wednesday nights learning nets, very similar to this. This is you do not need to be a ham radio operator since it's all online. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Google Hangouts, the Google Meet chat, or come onto the air. We have another 15 minutes or so here.
Yeah, Daron, this is Jim Beal. And what you got pulled up there.
Oh, somebody's talking. You're very quiet.
Jerry, your audio is very low. If that's you, Jerry.
No, that's Jim Beal. Can you hear me better?
Oh, Jim, your audio is very low.
Well,
Yeah, I was muted as far as I know.
Now I'm hearing you, Jerry.
let's see if I can talk a little louder. How's that? Still muted?
It's a little bit
You're
better.
still low, but readable.
The virtual Hamfest there, those that haven't been to a Hamfest, and Daron's got it up on the screen there. There's an excellent group of papers that you can view. It costs nothing. You just have to enter your email, and you can go in and review or listen to any of those papers until I think it's the 8th of September. And you can go to the vendor booths as well. And I've listened to some of the papers, and I find them very good. So I just thought I'd put that out there. Somebody's interested in going through and visiting it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jimmy. Give me a second here. Yeah, good. Yeah, this is a really, really cool thing that happened this year. Unfortunately, due to COVID, but fortunately, we now have a lot of things more online than we had before. So, yeah, qsotoday.vfairs.com, and I also have their YouTube page up here, QSO Today, virtualhamexpo.com. If you just search them on YouTube, you should be able to find them, and then you can also. It looks like they are starting to. That's where they had all their videos, and they're starting to unlist them or list them since they were unlisted. So you can also just go to their YouTube page and subscribe to them, and it looks like they're potentially starting to put up some of the videos from there too. So yeah, this is a really, really cool thing here. So plenty of talks there. If you missed it, still online here. And you said there were papers as well, Jim? I guess, is it? Oh, there are right here. Yep. After you log in here. Yep. These just right under, when you log in here, there are PDFs to their presentations. So very cool.
Yeah, there's about 30 or 40 of them there. They're very good.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Very neat. All right. Anyone have anything else right now for anyone? Any questions on anything we've spoken about so far about G5RV antennas or chokes and packet radio, antennas, virtual hamfest? Anything you want to bring up? At the beginning, I was very briefly mentioning the Direct show that went through Iowa recently here, and a lot of downed power lines and aerial towers and things like that. So if you know anybody out there, they might be having some issues, but it sounds like hopefully they're starting to come back a little bit here. I know they're still struggling, but a lot of things going out in Iowa. Arecibo antenna on the ARRL news here. I thought there was a photo somewhere I could find here. But recently had some pretty extensive damage to it, and it's been having quite a lot of issues over the last half a decade with a lot of different things. So hopefully they're able to recover from that. So you're just checking out here in the comments here. Also on YouTube, I've started to stream our learning nets as well as some of our different things. So it's live now. If you just look up my call sign on there, or DRC or W0TX, our sessions are now recorded online is here as well. So if you ever want to go back, that is an option for you too. Hopefully we'll be able to get it on our main channel at some point. But just trying to archive it, and yeah. All right, we have another 10 or so minutes. If anybody has any questions about amateur radio, electronics, engineering, this would be a good time to bring them up. I have on screen here the an article about KerosSDR, and it's a 4-channel phase coherent SDR that was crowdfunded in 2018, and it can be used for radio direction finding. And so somebody's written an application to be able to track weather balloon radiosondes, and we've kind of somewhat briefly discussed this. Radiosondes are deployed by different meteorological agencies around the world, and you could track them and retrieve the GPS and kind of the electronics that's inside of it if you wanted to. So pretty neat stuff there. Let's see if we can find some. I think they're always going on here. Maybe not. All right. Oh, well, let's try this again here. All right, my name again is Daron. Call sign is K1DBC. If you have any questions about any ham radio things, if you have any projects you're working on, anything you want to bring up, feel free to put any questions in the chat. If you have any projects you're working on, any show and tell, feel free to show us some photos, and we'll be more than happy to show them to the group.
You know, Daron, I noticed that a couple people had problems with their audio tonight, hearing anything.
Yeah.
We might want to, at the top of each of these Elmer sessions, just do a little run through of what you're showing right there with the settings and how to select everything.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. If you're still having audio issues, I guess you wouldn't be hearing me, but this is how you would select, just as I showed there. Once you join the meeting here, even before you join the meeting here, you have an option to select the audio, but if you click the 3 dots here and then click on settings, you have the audio here, and then you can select which microphone or which headphone you want to select, and then you can select test. So if you can't hear anything, you can select something different, then click test, and you'll hear like a dial tone. And once you hear the dial tone, then you know it should be working. Yeah. Good suggestion there. Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to remember to do that.
And we might show the same thing with screen layout.
Yeah, I really don't mess with mine too much, really. What did you say to do? You say change layout and then.
Well, it's good to go full screen, and then if you want to see your display better, use Spotlight, and it'll make it go, in essence, full screen.
Oh, clicking way too many things here. Let's see. Okay, so as the person on the other end, that's the best way to be. Okay, perfect. Okay, all right.
Comment, Daron.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, down there at the bottom, there's a 2 red dots there, and a telephone, looks like a telephone. But on the left there, you got the microphone. They should make sure that, yes, right there. Have them make sure that they've got that turned on.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good thing. This is a little bit new to us, but yeah, this is good stuff good pointers to point out when you're joining these meetings. I know it says on the W0TX point webpage to mute your microphone, but yeah, definitely come down here and mute it. Otherwise, sometimes we'll hear our own audio or other audio in the background, and it kind of is just a little juddering at a moment, but usually works out. Try to remember to do that though. Okay, we have a few people in here, 24 people so far, looking good. Have another 5 minutes or so here this evening. I wonder if anybody has any other further comments or questions for the Elmer session this evening.
Hi there, this is Jerry Meltzer, W0FFC. I have a question. I've recently gotten a handy talkie in any tone and have been listening a lot and hearing nothing. Is there any channel or any frequency where people congregate or talk or spend any time visiting?
Great question, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to bring up a couple of things here. One good place to look is not just trying to give out the club, but our website has a really good net listing. If you go to w0tx.org, and on the home page, you'll open up the menu here and you'll click on net list. And these are good times you would know somebody would be around to speak with, and repeaters that you know should be fairly active. Another good thing to look at is just the repeater listings themselves. Just make sure you're just actually using correct information. Make sure you're getting out to the repeater and using the right tones, and you should be able to hear things. So yeah, W0TX on that. Another one is rmrl.org. Another good net listing web page for Denver area nets. So you'll know for sure there should be. So if nothing else, you can use these to at least make sure your equipment's working. So those are a couple different options.
Simplex frequency. Give those a listen from time to time.
Simplex too as well. Yeah.
With school starting for me, I'm 14. I've been calling on 146.52 a lot just for something to do. So that's a good thing to monitor too.
Yeah, I think that is the national simplex frequency, isn't that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's always a good thing too. Is just listen on the national simplex 146.52. It's a good shout there, Arthur. Thank you.
And what I'd recommend is, Jeff, I'd go and look at, as Daron mentioned, look at DRE's site for all of their repeater listings, Rocky Mountain Radio League, Colorado Repeater Association, and the what's the statewide thing? I'm having a brain fart, Daron. The statewide
the council.
No, the linking system that
Oh.
goes statewide. Colorado Connection. Yeah, Colorado Connection.
That's right.
Look at those and get those programmed into your radio and then scan, and 9 times out of 10, you'll find somebody having a QSO somewhere if you get those in.
I wonder what of our repeaters are you listening to, because the 449.35, has a fair amount of traffic on it. And make sure your radio's set up right. If you're not hearing anything, I would be concerned that maybe it's not set up right.
Well, I'm set up because I can log onto the Wednesday net and be heard, so I know it's working. So it's just a matter of just saying, okay. And I go back, of course, to the late 70s, early 80s when there was always people on, and it just seems so quiet all the time these days.
Yeah, times have changed. Cell phones made a big difference.
Yep.
Yeah, put out a call.
Yep, absolutely.
We do.
No, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we were talking about this on a recent learning net, is because of COVID, a lot more people are working from home, but doing HF monitoring, but there's a lot more people monitoring, it seems like, or should be at least. But yeah.
And there's just so many more mechanisms of distraction these days.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Actually, in a real sense, less distractions now than before because you can't go anywhere and you can't travel anywhere. So it's unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I can't let ham radio cut into my TikTok time, you know.
I see. Okay.
All right, just a couple more minutes here. Well, and the regular meeting starts at 7, but if we have any casual things we can bring up in the next few minutes, if it bleeds over, that's fine. But pretty much, if you have anything major, if there's any other last minute things here, let us know.
Well, hearing nobody else, I'll ask another question.
Please.
I'm okay, have been, obviously have set a hotspot up. I've got DMR off and working, but it would be really nice to maybe have a session on how to access the various talk groups, how, any type of etiquette, those type of things. I did make some contacts on Worldwide the other day, which was kind of fun and exciting. But, it's like, okay, let's talk group 310, 311, 312. What do you do? How do you get to it? And so forth. And, in a sense, I've got my own hotspot, so I don't have to go through W0TX. But, the technology is basically the same, but I'm just still lost.
Comment.
Go ahead with the comment.
Okay, yeah. If you listen for W60AV, I don't know if he's listening here tonight, but there you probably would benefit from talking to Bill. He hangs out a lot on 449350, and he's always eager to talk about the hotspot and several other subjects there. So, but give him a call on that frequency, and from time to time, he's usually on, in the afternoons, and he's got a lot of good information there that you will find beneficial. AA0JK, back to net control.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, very quickly trying to touch on that. There's definitely several different ways. You should be able to do it with from the Anytone itself. I think if you hit 0 or star and then just the number, that's a quick way to get into it. There's a difference between static and dynamic top groups. There's a whole bunch of things. So yeah, there's a lot more to get into it than here, but yeah, Pi Star as you mentioned, or the hotspots you have, you don't have to tie up the repeater, but yeah, there's just a lot to learn. Yeah, feel free to ask for a W60AV or come hang out on the Wednesday night Learning Net this next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. on the 145490, and we can discuss it there as well too.
Okie doke. Thank you.
No problem. All right, with that, we might start to wrap things up here. We'll probably be hanging out here, so if anybody has any questions, definitely throw them out here, but the normal meeting will start in about 15 minutes, so feel free to take a break, and we'll go from there. Thank you all for being here this evening.
Bye.
And this is Jeff. I'm going to step away. I'll be back here a few minutes before the meeting starts.
Okay.
Thanks, Jerome.
Again, if you missed it, this is on YouTube as well. It's archived on YouTube. If you search, let's see if it works here. Yeah, if you search for WC or TX or DRC, it is on my channel at the moment, but it should be the live session on here as well. So if you missed anything this evening, you can go back, and the regular meeting will be on there as well.